Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2013 CFL mock draft. This is a time where teams can improve their roster with young talent, so let's start this video off the right way with the number 1 overall selection, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I like Linden Gaydosh out of Calgary going to Hamilton with this number 1 overall pick. I think this guy is 6'4", 305, has the athleticism you want up front. This guy in college played the nose. He played the 5 technique in the traditional 3-4. They also lined him up at defensive end as well at times, and this guy was successful at all 3 positions. Does a great job at anchoring at the line of scrimmage, shows good hand movement, and also does a great job of getting penetration. So Gaydosh is a guy that can give you that versatility that you want up front, gives you an outstanding presence on that defensive line, and allows you to get creative with your blitz packages. So I think Gaydosh going to Hamilton with number 1 makes a lot of sense for the Tiger Cats. Bolo Combo out of Oregon may be quite possibly the best prospect in this draft, and I think he makes perfect sense for Winnipeg and what they want to do defensively. You look at this guy as a supreme athlete, does a great job in pass coverage, can also get after the quarterback. You can utilize him on blitzes. He is what you want as a CFL linebacker. I like Lacombo a lot. I think he's going to bolster that defensive front 7 for Winnipeg. I covered Matt Sewell out of McMaster down at the East-West Shrine game, and he did a great job holding his own versus NCAA talent. You look at a guy that's 6'8", 335 pounds. He's built like a right tackle, but they have him on the left side. That says a lot about his athleticism and his ability to go against the team's top pass rusher. So I think he's going to fit fine in the Alouettes offense, and they get lucky by getting the top offensive lineman in the draft in Sewell, and I think he's going to do a great job keeping Anthony Cabillo upright and well protected, and that's just going to keep that offense on pace, ready to score a bunch of points with new head coach Dan Hawkins. I think Saskatchewan would be ecstatic to get a guy the caliber of Stefan Charles out of Regina, 6'5", 310 pounds. And for a man that big, he can move very well, has a lot more quickness than the guy he played with last year, Akeem Hicks, who's playing for the New Orleans Saints. I think Charles is a guy that's going to do a great job up front for Saskatchewan. Does a great job with disengaging from blockers, and that's what you need to have at the next level. We know the CFL passing game is prevalent. You got to be able to get off those blocks quick and get pressure on the quarterback. Charles can definitely do that, so I see him as an upgrade to what they already have on a roster. When you have 2 first-round selections, you can take a chance and make a surprise pick. So that's why I've given Montreal Stephen Lambada out of Calgary. I like the way this guy runs. Reminds me a lot of the Seattle Seahawks tailback Robert Turbin. Has a lot of power to his game, shows that burst. May not have the breakaway speed, but is good enough to break away long runs, and that's all you want. You want a guy in the backfield that can keep the offense on pace. He also can catch very well, so he has the soft hands, and I think they need a running back in that backfield. Adding a young player like Lambada will help bolster that offense on the ground and give defensive coordinators an extra element of their offense to worry about. The rich get richer. When you look at Ben Aguilar out of McMaster, a guy that can play defensive end, can also play linebacker, had 16.5 sacks for McMaster this past season. And I think if you add him to that BC Lions defense, and that was an aggressive defense last year, and to have a guy like Aguilar who may go higher, fall to them at this spot, makes a lot of sense. You have to take him. You want to continue to apply pressure and make plays in the secondary like they did last year. I love the way this guy gets off the football and is constantly making plays behind the line of scrimmage. That's what BC needs. They have to continue to apply that downward pressure, and they'll be back in the hunt for the Grey Cup. I think Calgary makes the move to get Jesse Joseph out of UConn, 6'3", 260 pounds. He's coming off an Achilles injury, so why not secure the rights of a guy that can be a tremendous pass rusher when he's healthy? You want to see if he checks out medically, but this is a guy that I think can be special at the next level. Makes a lot of sense for the Stampeders to help improve their defensive line woes. I think Toronto bolsters the interior of their offensive line with Corey Whatman out of Eastern Michigan. I've seen this guy a lot play in the MAC. This guy does a great job with his hand placement, and you know they run a lot of quick hitters on the interior. I think this is a perfect fit for the Argonauts. The Ottawa franchise is up next, and they can only select from NCAA underclassmen, which is why I've given them Denarius McGhee out of Montana State. I believe this young man is your ideal quintessential CFL quarterback. A dual threat guy, reminds me a lot of Kevin Glenn that plays for the Calgary Stampeders. Outstanding accuracy, tremendous leadership. So why not start your franchise off on the right foot by getting a young quarterback that you can build around with that leadership, with his skill set? I think Ottawa can get themselves off on the right foot, hit the ground running with a guy like McGhee back there at quarterback. Now we move to the second round, and I've given the Edmonton Eskimos a guy in Andy Mbamba. I think this guy may go higher than what I have him listed. He's flying up the draft boards. You're going to see him probably fly even higher at the evaluation camp on March 22nd. Tremendous speed coming off the edge, that pass rusher that you want to bring pressure. And if you want to compare him to a guy that's playing in the CIS, you want to compare him to Bendy Aguilar out of McMaster. So I think Edmonton gets themselves a steal if he lasts to the second round. This is when their first selection is, but I think he may go higher. But if they can land a guy like Mbamba, I think that goes a long way in improving that Eskimos defense. And you want to keep it locked in here to Football Game Plan throughout the course of draft season, as our senior draft analyst Chris James does a great job breaking down the prospects on his radio show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan. And you can also follow him on Twitter at CJ429.